Here, Vladimir Putin was very clear. We are interested in peace. We want more arms limitation treaties. We want a cybersecurity framework to involve the whole world to avoid situations where so many misunderstandings and problems occur. But Vladimir Putin also said that there are those who are set on burning bridges with Russia, and that for them there will be a response.
То тут, то там, без всяких причин.
Some countries have adopted the highly indecent habit of blaming Russia with any excuse and usually without any reason. It's turned into a kind of sporting competition, a new sport of who speaks louder. We react to that with the highest restraint and, you could say, without any irony, with modesty. Often we don't even respond to unfriendly actions or even to open rudeness. We want to keep good relations with all participants in the international community. But we see what's happening in real life. As I already said, they're picking on Russia all over the place without reason, and of course immediately around them all sorts of little jackals run around like with Shere Khan, just like in the Kipling story, howling to gain favor with their ruler. Kipling is a great writer. We really don't want to burn bridges, but if someone mistakes our good intentions for indifference or weakness and is determined to completely burn or even blow up these bridges, that person must know that Russia's answer will be asymmetrical, fast and hard.
The president ended with a stern warning that any country that goes after core Russian interests will experience a firm, harsh, immediate and asymmetric response. But
Kal halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. A salutation to the hopeful elect. Shalom Yasharala. Quick video after going to the comment board of my last lesson regarding an article I came across in Israel 365 News. Biden prepares for a nuclear war. The opening line of that article quoted Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, verse 2, in reference to the prophecy of Gog and Magog, which we know to be speaking of Russia and Turkey in their confederacy against the U.S., Israel, and other allied NATO forces. In response to that lesson, an individual by the name of Strefanash, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, said this on the comment section of my channel, and it reads, "The notion that Gog, Magog is Russia has long been refuted. It is more likely Syria." I did in fact respond to that comment, but I thought it more prudent to give the proper edification in the measure I was given through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakwadash by doing a short lesson so those in the circumference of my voice who may have drew the same conclusion after watching that video could be corrected and, as I said, properly edified. In any event, let's start by going to the scriptures. This is Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 1, and it reads, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying," let me start by saying, thus begins Yahweh's message to Gog of Magog and his allies, and the prophecy of Gog's invasion of Jerusalem, the land, not the people, told in Ezekiel the 38th and 39th chapter, that was set to occur after many days in the latter years and the latter days, dealing with Ezekiel 38 and 8, as well as verse 16, clearly proving this to be an end-time prophecy. Ezekiel 38 verse 2, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Actually, as I stated in my last video, Meshech, Tubal, as well as Magog were all sons of Japheth, Japheth being one of the three sons of Noah. For argument's sake, let's go to the book of Genesis. This is Genesis chapter 10 verse 1, and it reads, "Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, which is Asia Minor, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rephath, and Togarmah." In Ezekiel 38, Gomer, Togarmah represents modern-day Turkey, proving the Turks and modern-day Israelis, the Ashkenazi Jews, otherwise known as the Khazars, are of the same stock. According to some, Japheth is a so-called white man. That is not so. That distinction belongs to Esau, Edom. Now, some scholars suggest Magog means the Prince of Rosh, translated as chief prince, with the idea the word Rosh is indicative of the greatness of a prince, not a definite land or place where the prince rules. The problem is Rosh, understood as a name in the Hebrew, is attributed to the seventh son of Benjamin in Genesis, the 46th chapter, not Ezekiel 38, and is only transcribed as Rosh, a region, in the New American Standard Bible, but not found nowhere in the King James and most modern versions. Also, there are many who suggest that Rosh speaks of Russia or the Russians, but the only evidence of that is the similarity in the sound of the word and the name. Rosh in the Hebrew, Strong's 7220, is said to be the same as Strong's 7218 and is defined as being from an unused root, apparently meaning to shake the head, as most easily shaken, whether literally or figuratively, in many applications of place, time, rank, etc. Band, beginning, captain, chapiter, chief, as it is described as many in other places written in the Old Testament, including Ezekiel 38 and 2. Est, place, man, things, company, and X, every man, excellent. First, forefront, head, height, high, lead, poor, principal, ruler, sum, top, yada, yada, yada. So in order to drive home Russia's Gog of Magog in full accordance with the scriptures, we rightfully have to use the scriptures and venture deeper into the prophecy of Ezekiel 38. This is Ezekiel 38 and 15, and it reads, "And thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts." In the Hebrew here, it translates into the uttermost part of the north, the same as in Ezekiel 39 and 2. The uttermost part, meaning farthest north, in relation to the land mass prophesied to being invaded, would have to be Russia. Russia, of course, is the northernmost country in Eurasia, whereas Syria sits at modern-day Israel's border. In fact, Turkey and Russia sit directly to the north of today's Israel. The 1854 map, the world as known to the Hebrews, locates Meshech together with Gog and Magog, located roughly in the southern Caucasus. Also, the Kievan synopsis of 1674, which interprets history through a quote-unquote Christian conception of time, focusing on the narratives of the creation period, the fall of man, and the redemption period, meaning the times of the Apostle Paul, gives the first account of King Mosach, i.e. Meshech, Mosach being closer to the original Hebrew, building a city named after he and his wife Kiva, calling it Moskava. Moscow is spelled Moskava in Russian. In fact, Tubal is identified as Tobolsk, founded in 1587 in western Siberia, the earliest province in Asiatic Russia to be colonized. Wilhelm Jansenius, I hope I'm saying that right. Let's try it again. Wilhelm Jansenius, a so-called world-class Hebrew scholar in any event, known for his lexicon and German text, offers the Greek name Mashkai, Hebrew for Meshech, is the actual source of the name for the city of Moscow. Let me read you some text from the Oxford Bible Church discussing the validity of the notion Gog of Magog is in reference to Russia, confederate with Turkey. Meshech, the sixth son of Japheth, settled in the northeast portion of Asia Minor. His posterity extended from the shores of the Black Sea along to the south of the Caucasus. He was the father of the Rossi and Mashki, who dispersed their colonies over a vast portion of Russian territory, and their names are preserved in the names of Russians and Muscovites to this day. The Septuagint version of the Old Testament renders the term Meshech by the words Mosk and Rosh, while Muscovy was a common name for Russia, and the city of Moscow is one of her principal cities. Tubal or Tobal settled beyond the Caspian and Black Seas in the modern Slovakia, in the eastern possessions of Russia, embracing a very large portion of these dominions. The name of this patriarch is still preserved in the river Tobol, which waters an immense tract of Russian territory, and the city of Tobolsky in Russia is still a monument to him. Another line of study reveals that Meshech and Tubal are the ancient Mushki, and Tubalu Tibereni peoples who dwelled in the area around, primarily south of the Black and Caspian Seas in Ezekiel's day. Meshech and Tubal are mentioned together in Ezekiel 27-13 as trading partners with ancient Tyre, modern-day Lebanon. Today, these regions are in Turkey, possibly including parts of southern Russia and northern Iran. Meshech was located near and what was known as Phrygia in Central and Western Asia Minor, while Tubal was located in the Eastern Asia Minor. So Meshech and Tubal form portions of modern Turkey. However, later migrations north into Russia mean that this view is also consistent with the first theory. In any case, between them, Magog, Rosh, Meshech, and Tubal certainly represent Russia, leading the Cis republics along with Turkey. After Russia, it seems that Turkey and Iran must be the major players in the invasion from the north. For those not in the know, Moscow is the capital of Russia and the main area of politics as well as development and culture by far. It is the most populated city in Europe and is, I believe, number 4 on the list of home to have the most billionaires, lending to the number of chief prince, even though Syria is rich in oil. Back to Ezekiel 38:15. Thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. As the elder apostles always say, in order to understand the scriptures, you have to have a working knowledge and understanding of secular history and, of course, the world today, how it correlates with the prophecies of the Bible.
Вот президент Обама упомянул об одной из угроз, это ИГИЛ. Ну а кто помогал вооружать людей, которые в Сирии боролись с Асадом-то? Кто создавал благоприятный политический информационный климат? Кто подталкивал к поставкам оружия? А вы чего? Разве вы не понимаете, кто там воюет? Там воюют наемники. В основном. Вы знаете, что там платят деньги? И они воюют там, где платят больше. Вот они вооружились, им платят определенную сумму. Мне даже называли эти суммы, которые им платят. Они там воюют уже с оружием, все, у них уже не отнимешь. Потом выяснилось, что в другом месте чуть-чуть начали побольше платить. Они там туда перетекут. Вот они захватили месторождения нефтяные, там, скажем, где-то в Ираке или в Сирии. Нефть начали добывать. У них эту нефть покупают, транспортируют, продают. Почему санкции не накладывают на всех, кто это делает? А что, разве Соединенные Штаты не знают, кто это делает? Это разве не их союзники этим занимаются?
It was Putin in the name of Russia and not Syria's President Assad who sent over 150,000 troops and put together the coalition of countries, Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Libya, China, etc., to fend off ISIS and protect their interests, as alluded to in Ezekiel 38:7. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. With no doubt that guard with the sole capability of being able to protect such common interests of theirs as well as their allies, that would have to be Russia. Russia is the only 800-pound gorilla that fits this prophecy. So let's close with this. Not a lot of rap. I mean, there's a plethora of literary and online resources to support what the scriptures does in an excellent fashion, which is prove itself by the prophecies playing out. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 9, and it reads, For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, which we know is America, along with Israel and her allies, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows, meaning thermonuclear and intercontinental ballistic missiles, shall be as a mighty expert man, meaning in perfect formation. None shall return in vain, meaning none shall miss its target. Again, the North Country is speaking of Russia, undisputed. The assembly, in reference to one, the USSR, the United Soviet of Socialist Republics, indicative of Russia turning back to its old roots and communist way of governing pursuant to Ezekiel 38:4, and to the other allied nations who have lost faith in and grow tired of the American way of doing things. Kal halal Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash, through the power and spirit, I hope you were edified. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach this 100% truth and rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom, Yasharallah. Remember, don't take that test, don't take that jab, and damn sure don't take that chip.
Whoever organizes any provocations that threaten our core security will regret this like they've never regretted anything before.